If you're just hopping on, I'm trying to see, I think a bunch of you hopped on before I said what you need, but if you don't already have it, I would recommend pillows or blankets. You can even use books as blocks, maybe with like a towel over it, so especially if they're hardcover. Anything you need to support your practice. So if you get cold easily or if you get warm easily, just knowing that you have that option or whatever you need near you to adjust. So if you are new to yin with me, we are only going to do maybe like 5 to 7 poses throughout the whole practice. So I'll constantly be supporting you and offering ways to go deeper, to listen to your body, but really worrying less about the shapes and just focusing on the sensations that are coming up in your body tonight. So if you aren't already, go ahead and find a comfortable seat. You can always sit up on a blanket or a pillow to just lift your hips up. If it feels okay on your knees, you can cross your legs. You can always add some props underneath the knees or the thighs. And you always have that option to extend the legs out in front of you if it's bothersome on the knees, to keep them bent. We won't be here for the whole hour, but we'll be here for a little bit. If there's any movement that feels good in your body here, I encourage you to take that. You're welcome to close the eyes or just soften through the gaze. When you can start to settle into a little bit of stillness. Start to tune in with the body. Just checking in. Noticing your breath. Noticing how your body is feeling here. We ever come to a place that you feel good in to start, and then as time continues to pass and it is no longer feeling comfortable, feel free to adjust, add props, take them away, change the position. Let's take a couple more breaths here. Just one more. To bring your hands towards your knees or your legs. And just start to move the spine forward and back. So think as if you're moving through that cat-cow position. So you're feeling your heart come forward, maybe gazing up, and rounding the spine, tucking the chin towards the chest. You can stay with this cat-cow motion Or if you want to go a little side to side, or even just taking some circles with the torso. These are all just options. And of course, you always have the option to just sit and breathe. Many of you often do this practice with me in the middle of the day. So maybe even just noticing for a moment how it feels doing it at the very end of your day. Not creating any judgment, just being a little curious. Finishing up any gentle movement here. And just start to extend the legs out long. You can shake them out when they first get there. We're going to stay in this position. So now is a wonderful time to add any extra support underneath the knees, especially if you're feeling any tenderness in the backs of your legs today. Doesn't matter how wide your legs are. They can be really wide. They can be a little bit more narrow. I want you to find your happy spot. And try your very best to relax the feet. So we're not trying to be really active here. And you might just stay here. Or you might start to lean a little forward from the hips. And find a rounding through the spine. If it feels okay, you can drop your chin to your chest. And always add props underneath the arms if you feel like they're working really hard. And as we continue to stay, know that you can play with going a little bit deeper. You can play with leaning a little back, going less into the shape. You'll likely notice the sensations shifting as you play. So I encourage you to find your Goldilocks spot. Not too much and not too little. Just a little while longer here. Hmm. Finding your last breath here. Nice and slow, as if you're moving in slow motion. Start to lift yourself up. You can even lean back on your hands for a moment. Maybe just feel the spine lengthen. This is just an option. And then go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together. If you're really happy with a little lean back on your hands, stay here. If you would like that same sensation through the back body that we did in that straddle, you can start to lean forward. It doesn't have to be where you were before. Your legs are in a different shape. It doesn't matter how close your feet are to you. They can be further away, they can be closer. You can add some props underneath the knees, underneath the arms. And again, you can play with where you're going. How deep you go, where you stay, if you stay there. And if at any point you find yourself getting distracted, I encourage you to just simply notice your breath. few more breaths here. Finishing up your next inhale and exhale. Nice and slow, start to bring yourself up. So just as we moved mindfully into it, moving mindfully out of it. You're welcome to extend the legs, lean back on your hands. And we're going to change our view and come onto our hands and our knees. Feel free to add some blankets underneath the knees for just added support, especially if the floor is hard. And just like we did when we were sitting, maybe you're moving through a couple of cat-cows. Or moving the spine a little from side to side. Or even circles. Start to bring your toes together and your knees wide. Kind of like we just had with that butterfly. Except we're going to sink our hips towards our heels. Now that doesn't mean that the hips are anywhere near the heels. You can slide a blanket behind the knees. You can add some pillows underneath the torso. If there is any pain in the knees, and as you come towards this child's pose, your body just doesn't want to be here at all, you'll take that same shape. If you're good here, you don't need to look at me. But if it is bothersome, you can take that same shape on your back. So I'm basically just taking my knees in, but a little wide. So that is the perfect other place to go if a forward child's pose does not work for you today. Don't feel like you have to keep the arms really active. Even if you're on your back and you're holding your knees, see if you can soften through the shoulders and the jaw. You are more than welcome to stay here. If you would like, you can walk your hands over to the right as if you're trying to lengthen the left side of your body. If you're on your back and you'd like to add a little side bend here, it's going to be a little bit more wiggling, but you can do the same thing, kind of just walk your head and right shoulder over to the right. It's not going to be graceful, but you can get a similar stretch. It'll be a little funky too, but it works. And if you go there and your body doesn't like it tonight, you can always go back. Walk your hands back to center if you were over to the right. And then bring your upper body towards the left. I'm just here for a little while longer. Just want to keep you even. The sides might feel a little different too, so you might find that you have more space on one side, less space. So again, just noticing. Last couple of breaths. Walk your upper body back to the center if you were off to the side. Pause there. Nice and slowly start to peel yourself up. Or if you're on your back, just release the knees. And then go ahead and just lengthen one leg out. Just to release the front of your hip. Lengthen the other leg out. Maybe do it one more time on each side. We're there for a while. Have you come all the way on to your belly. Just make a pillow with your hands. Pausing there. You can keep your head down if you're looking at me. I'm just lifted, so You don't lose my voice. One more breath here. This will probably be the hardest part, but you're gonna push yourself back up to your table. I welcome you to take a little movement here. You're gonna come back to sit on your bottom. We're gonna go right back where we started. And let's extend the legs out long. And just lean back on your hands for a moment. Then start to bend the knees. So your feet are on the floor. So this might change how much you're leaning back onto the hands. We're not going to stay leaning back on the hands. So just know that this is just for the transition. And then start to windshield wiper your knees from side to side. And the next time the knees come towards the right, I want you to keep letting them go towards the right, and you're actually going to push off of the hands so you can come all the way up to sit. So my right leg is like that butterfly, and my left leg is the complete opposite of my butterfly. Anything happening in the knee here, especially your left knee, lift that leg back up and extend it long. But think like you're trying to create a lot of space. If it feels okay, you can keep the knee bent, like the heel's trying to come towards your bottom. And it's not going to feel equal on your sit bones here. Your left hip is likely going to feel lifted, so you're welcome to throw some props underneath there. And you might get here and decide that you're good and you want to stay, or you can start to feel as if you're folding over your right shin. And that fold over can just be bringing the hands to the right, right in front of the right shin. It can be your hands on the leg. It can be the hands a little further forward or on your elbows. Or maybe just testing them all out. Again, remember, if there's any pain in your left knee, that leg is going to be straight out, but you're feeling that same fold over the right shin, whatever that fold looks like. relax through the shoulders, the jaw, the fingers. Even if it's just 1% more relaxed. Just a couple of breaths here. One more breath. Nice and slow, you'll start to peel yourself up. No matter what, if you have your left leg straight or bent, you're gonna lean back on your hands and let the knees come back to center. Really slowly moving. The little windshield wiper feels good. Before we come to the other side, go for it. And when you're ready, let the knees start to drop over to the left. Now, if you already know that you have a knee thing and it's very uncomfortable on this new side, you can extend the leg. If you're not sure how it's gonna feel, nice and slowly and mindfully, you can play with coming into it. I would recommend props underneath your booty or even underneath the left leg. Wouldn't recommend props underneath the right knee though, because that's actually gonna take it even deeper. And then you can start to play with folding over your left shin. Probably not going to be the same as the other side. Taking a few moments to move around until you find where you'd like to pause, at least for a little bit. It doesn't have to be the whole time that you pause. You find yourself getting distracted or overthinking, don't necessarily have to turn it off. And I encourage you to just notice your breath. Few more rounds of breath wherever you are. Final breath here. Slowly start to bring yourself all the way up. Really slowly and mindfully. Can lean back on your hands one final time. Maybe you rock the knees. Maybe you just extend the legs long, especially if you've had them bent for both sides. And then start to find your way all the way onto your back. So maybe when you get there, you hug your knees in or lengthen your legs out. Or windshield wiper the knees from here. And then keeping your right foot on the floor, just to lengthen your left leg out. You can have your arms come by your side, or they can be cactus. And almost feel as if you're trying to reach your left leg as far forward as it can go. Just a couple of more breaths here, and then we'll switch. And nice and slowly bend your left leg and lengthen the right leg out. Again, your arms can be wherever is comfortable. It might feel when you first get there that your body is working really hard because your legs are doing two different things. That's okay. See if you can let go just that 1% more than before. And this time, instead of bending your right leg, you'll just lengthen your left leg to meet your right. You can take the feet a little wide, maybe bring the arms up into a Y, like you're trying to become a starfish. You are welcome to stay a starfish. You are welcome to bring your arms and legs a little bit closer and turn that starfish into Shavasana. You can also add props underneath the knees, the legs, roll onto your side. Finding a place where you can pause, not create any pain, but where you can also let go as much as possible. Really using these last few minutes of class in complete and total gratitude for your practice today. Shavasana. Starting to bring some awareness back into the space. And starting to bring some awareness back into the body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Rolling out wrists and ankles. Rocking your head from side to side. Stretching your arms up overhead, taking a full body stretch all the way from your fingers to your toes. And hugging your knees in and rolling onto your right side. Pausing there for a moment. Using the strength of your arms, beginning to press yourself up, coming into a comfortable seat and keeping your focus inside. Bringing your hands into your heart center, gently bow your head. Thank yourself for making it to your mat today, for your practice, for your energy, for your breath, and most importantly, for yourself. Namaste.